Greetings. Welcome to episode 4 of Paging Dr. Guillotine, a special end of the year episode out here in the nation of Brooklyn. I am your humble host, regular dude, musician with a day job, Marco, giving you just, current events with a labor-heavy analysis of the situation in this country and across the world, across the globe, as much as we can discuss it, as much as I'm able to discuss it, because I'm not knowledgeable on a lot of things. I'm very unknowledgeable, so it's always it's a growing process. And that's the theme of today's show is the growth for the new year, for 2025, what we got going on and what it's all about. So today I'm not going to touch on a lot of things. It'll be real short, real quick. This is going out as soon as I'm done. Today is December 31st, 2024. Not only the last day of the year, but also today is my father's 80th birthday. Now, a lot of who I am has a lot to do with who he is and what he went through and what his experiences have been in life. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, for all that he did. And if we were to break it down, and I will someday, we'll discuss it. It's a pretty astonishing life, I gotta say. Today he turns 80. He's having a little bit of a rough go, health wise. I'm hoping that because he's an elderly man, that a lot of what he's going through is just to duplicate medication stuff, and once they remove the stuff that he doesn't need and just keep the stuff that he does need, that he'll start feeling better. But yeah, so a lot of this show and a lot of my belief system is directly impacted by his life. My dad was born in 1944 in Galicia, Spain. That's like the Seattle of Spain. It's the northwestern coastal area of Spain, pretty close to Portugal. And that's where my dad was born. My grandfather did not participate in the Spanish Civil War as a soldier. He was not drafted. He was the father of 11 children. And so he got deferred away from frontline stuff, from frontline activity. So his job was to pick up the dead and the wounded. And in that, he was injured when, this is the story that was told. I don't have any paperwork or anything. This is just anecdotal, familial stories. He was injured when a grenade went off, and he was injured with shrapnel. He had surgery on his side and back. He never really walked properly after that, and he died shortly thereafter from a blood clot. This was prior to anticoagulants and other modern medicinal breakthroughs. And my dad, along with his siblings, all of them, had to leave Spain for La República Oriental del Uruguay. Uruguay, for you gringos out there. That's why this banner is here. This is when my dad grew up. One of my cousins gifted me this a soccer scarf. But it's one of the reminders I have my family. At the door, my mom is from Venezuela. At the door, we have a Venezuelan flag. So the ancestors are well represented in my humble home studio here in Brooklyn. Anyway, my dad and his mother and all his siblings and some uncles had to make a transatlantic voyage that I believe took about 2 weeks, and they traveled to Uruguay and started a life there. My dad grew up there until he was in his 20s. Now, here's like the funny thing about my dad is that he came of age at a time when it was post World War II. Technically, my dad is whatever comes before boomers. A boomer, the boomer generation, the baby boomer generation is technically officially January 1st, 1945, and my dad predates that by a few hours. So he's technically part of the silent generation, I think, which is hilarious. Maybe one of the last people of the silent generation born. Maybe. This is something to look into. So the funny thing about my dad is that in this coming of age during the time of post World War II Cold War turmoil, he is in ground zero in Latin America. Latin America becomes, along with Asia and Africa, become the sites of proxy conflicts between the Soviet Union and the American Empire. And in 72 or 73, there is a military. My family left Spain in the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War. So as a result of a fascist dictator takeover of Spain, and the government of Franco. So my family leaves Spain in the time of Franco. They go to Uruguay, and in the 70s, so 15, 20 years after that, in 70, I think it's 73, there is a military dictatorship, a junta that takes over. Actually, I believe it wasn't bloodless, but there was the military. There was no fight between the central government, the main government, the central government, and the military. The central, Juan Maria Bordaberry becomes the president and dictator with the help of a military junta. The military helps the figurehead come to power, right? Shortly after that, my dad leaves. He goes to Argentina, like a lot of trade unionists. My dad active in labor union activity in these places. He leaves for Argentina with my brother, his brother, my uncle, Jesus. Because, we all have an Uncle Jesus. And they leave. Then a military dictatorship takes over in Argentina. I think that's General Videla in Argentina. And they leave Argentina, both of them, my father and my uncle, and they go to Mexico with all the intentions of crossing the border. And they do. They cross the border in Texas, I think. In 76 or 77. They did intend to get visas. They went to the American consulate in Argentina, and they were like, "Hey, we'd like visas to go." And the clerk, noting their labor activity and its presumption to socialism at a time when socialism was a scary word. And I would say that the 70s and 80s, pretty much until the fall of the Soviet Union. It was the Red Scare did not end. It didn't end with the end of McCarthyism. It ended with, you know, Gorbachev cashing in. So yeah, so my dad has spent his life, you know, avoiding right wing dictatorships all throughout the country, all throughout the land, and finally, setting up roots in New York, meeting my mom from Venezuela. So that's like the most New York shit ever. So I consider myself hella New York because I am the son of two immigrants who met in Queens. And that's the most New York shit ever. So, you know, a bunch of props and credit to my old man on his 80th birthday. You know, always an example of working hard and busting your ass. So with that said, let me just give you a little update of my plans for 2025. Still working on the Patreon, but we have a little bit more fleshing out to do of that. Once I get that going, that'll get its own post. It's been such a hassle, such a weird journey to deal with, in dealing with Patreon, that I might actually just look into other services of that. And there's got to be they must have a competition. So the plan is to continue this podcast weekly or thereabouts, and to launch finally the music equivalent, which is going to be called Musician with a Day Job, because that's me. I'm a musician. I have a day job. The two things are different. It's you know, it's two parts of the same whole, a yin and a yang, if you will. I have a job because I need a job, because rent doesn't pay itself, and I'm a musician because that's what the fuck I am. And so we're going to push for that. And so the idea is that the Patreon will help fund the musical aspects of the podcast and the music that generates, because the podcast will be showing behind the scenes in the process of how I write and how I come up with music, and how I approach music. And then if the Patreon does well, I will be hiring musicians and recording content to provide to whoever feels compelled to donate. And I am treating it like a startup. You know, I am looking to make a music production collaborative, a music production cooperative, if you will, under the moniker of Big Fam, which would be the musical ensemble, and the studio would be the test kitchen, because the imagery of a kitchen where things are being cooked up also implies that things are being served, and that serving of music, I want to incorporate it with the feeling of like eating with your family, but for your ears. I don't know if that makes sense. And so that's why the group is called Big Fam. Big Fam, it's a collective. So if, you know, if a drummer isn't available, we have a couple of drummers we could reach out to. Things like that. It's not singularly the people. It's more of an expression of a thought. And that's what we're pushing for in the new year. I'm manifesting it like the hippie chicks that went to my college. And so, yeah, that's what we got going on for 2020. We're pushing our, I always say we, it's me. I'm the only one here right now. That's what I'm pushing for. And somehow that's going to go hand in hand with my, beliefs in politics and governance and social order and social setup. We got it. We're gonna have to have a Luigi song soon because all folk heroes deserve a song. Not that there aren't plenty already. It's been taken off, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And then the last thing, quite randomly, I got an update on my YouTube account that we have a subscriber, a brand new subscriber, and I think that there's like a couple. I gotta look, but we have a couple of subscribers. Thank you for logging in, for being for checking it out. That's all I can really say is thank you for checking it out. If it resonates, share with your friends, let people know. But yeah, as of a couple of days ago, we had at least one new subscriber. As of today, actually, at 5:00, we had a new subscriber. So we have we have 2 subscribers in the last 28 days, 11 subscribers total. All right, cool. 11 people that are logged in, that are hooked in. Tremendous. The analytics that I have so far in my roughly 1 month of doing this, not impressive. It's whatever, but it's fucking cool. 2 subscribers, 1,100 views, 7 minutes of watch time. I have an hour and a half of content so far. So 4 episodes, roughly 30 minutes each, more or less. So maybe between an hour and 2 hours of stuff that I've said. And, yeah. So you checked out some of it. I hope the rest of it is just as compelling. I'm excited to see where this ride takes us. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. That was it. Thank you for everyone watching, for everyone that's subscribed. If you are not subscribed, like and subscribe. You know what the fuck to do. You know the deal. You know what to do. All right. Yeah, that's it. Have a great day and a happy new year.